What's up, y'all? Mini Bill's back with another video, and y'all, this is just I know I've done TSAs before, so I'm sure a lot of y'all might remember the video that I made introducing you guys to my girl Sheila, my Poulon wild thing. And in that video, I was cranking her up and, flailing her around and all this shit, and acting goofy with her. Excuse me. But I'm making this video now to teach some of y'all a lesson about these pieces of equipment. Now, I have some viewers, like one of my great viewers, who was explaining to me or talking to me about his steel pole saw. So he knows about these pieces of equipment. But I have some viewers that might not know about these pieces of equipment. These are highly dangerous and very unpredictable pieces of equipment. And I'm going to show you why right now. When I was at my cousin's house, I was cutting up a stump for him when the teeth on the back of my chain sheared off. A lot of them sheared right off in there. See that? Sheared right off the top of that there chain. Oh, you can't see it because my fat fingers are in the way. But that's not supposed to look like that. I went in for a cut. That's why I say you gotta be careful with these. That's why they have this big label on the top of the saw. Because these pieces of machinery are highly unpredictable. That's why you have to be extremely careful with them. Because when you have these thick spinning teeth, spiraling across this bar at such a high RPM, and something like this happens, you don't know what could happen. Like, this could have wrapped around my leg. It could have sliced my leg open. I could have gotten one of my cousin's kids hurt. These saws, these are not anything to play with. So for y'all who watched my video when I introduced y'all to Sheila, take this video as a lesson. These are not toys. These saws, these pieces of equipment are not to play with. They're not to flail around and make yourself look cool. Much like a lot of things. I'm going to make this video as just a lesson in general. If you see a chainsaw, a lawnmower, a gun, a power tool, anything, the last thing you want to do is treat them like they're toys. Because they can be extremely dangerous pieces of equipment, meant to be handled by somebody who knows what they're doing. I know I'm spitting a lot in this video, but I just wanted to explain to you guys, because there are some people who might not have run a chainsaw before, and you guys watched the video of me going acting all Leatherface and all that shit, and fucking flailing the saw around, when that could have ended bad. If I made one wrong move, it could have ended very badly. I'm not going to go in detail because I might get age restricted, but these tools are not to play with. I shouldn't have shown that to you guys like that. When I introduced her to you, I should have done it in a better way. She still runs, by the way. I can still get her to start, but in order to do that, I'd have to take her bar and chain off, because I think her chain is still connected to the sprocket on the inside of the saw, and if I tried to start her up, I might have a whirling, flailing chain flying towards me, and I ain't doing that. So any power tool in general, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm gonna try to scare somebody out of running power tools. That's why these things have warning labels. And it's obvious. I mean, shit. I mean, if it's not obvious to you, then I don't know. But these things are not to play with. It's like what I was doing in that video is like the equivalent of going out and driving on the wrong side of the road with a vehicle. Bad analogy, but similar analogy. So say you're driving your car down the road, and you're like, hey, I want to be dangerous. I want to do something cool, and I turn into the other lane, and you're coming over a hill. Next second, car, semi-truck, pickup, anything, chainsaws. I want to be cool. I want to be cool with this piece of equipment. I want to flail it around. I want to do all this. I want to make it look cool. Something like this happens. This chain could have flown off and whacked somebody. And at such a high RPM, these sharp teeth on this saw could have sliced and hurt somebody very badly. And that's why you don't treat these things like they're toys. Toys are called toys for a reason. You got your little toy chainsaws and everything else. Alright. I cut out for a second because I went to go get some tools. But, you know, some kids, they might look at something, they might go on a video and then be like, oh, well, they'll see this guy, he's playing with something, and it looks fun. It looks cool and everything. And hey, maybe I'd want to do it, you know? Well, this is why you don't. Because there's certain things that you can play with, like toys, actual toys. And there's things that you can't play with, like these. And I'm going to show you why in a second here. I'm going to take the side case off. And take the bar and chain off. As long as I don't lose my nut. Haha. Now these tools, they rev at a very high RPM to compensate for the draw it's going to take to cut the wood. Now you see here why the chain was stopped on my saw when it popped off. It about tore through my sprocket. I actually dug deep in my sprocket, which is not ideal. But now I gotta replace my bar, my chain, all of these sprockets, or all of the teeth on the inside of the chain. A lot of them are sheared and shredded. That's how one is supposed to look, and one right next to it sheared it right off. Now, this saw will still start. Yeah, you can hear it through the video. I can't hold the phone up at the same time. Now you see. It's spinning a little bit. That's that soak. Take the soak off. Take the brake off. Oopsie doozy. Now you know when to start. You can see that sprocket spinning. That's sitting. That revs at such a high RPM that if those bolts, those studs on the side of that saw, on this saw, didn't catch that chain, you can see the studs. Those studs is what stopped my saw's chain from flying off. And if they weren't there, that chain would have flown off the saw at such a high RPM that it could have ripped right through somebody. It could have cut right into you. And that's why I say that these things are not toys. And I know y'all have common sense. And be like, hey, well, we know this already. These ain't toys, and not meant to be like that. But even in working situations, because I was cutting a stump with this saw, and it happened. Basically, all I'm saying is, be careful. Because you don't know what's going to happen. And don't treat stuff like this like a toy. Because they're not toys. These are very dangerous pieces of equipment that can be highly unpredictable and could cause some serious damage if used improperly. With that being said, this video is already pretty long, so I'm going to hop off. I gotta go to work tomorrow, so I'm gonna go back in my house and chillax for a while until I gotta go to bed, and then I'm gonna get for work, and then I'm gonna go get some new parts, and Sheila will be back up and running and cutting again. The whole point of the video is you have these tools, just be careful with them, because these things are not to play with. And don't do stupid shit like I do. I should have put that as a warning on the video when I was sitting there flailing around and acting stupid. Because I had this same chain on the saw and it flew off. And it could have took something. It could have been bad. But that's all. I love y'all. I'll catch you in the next one. I appreciate it, as always. Later.